Hello and welcome to the video Manage Application Access using the Deployment Portal. The Genero Identity Provider, or GIP, has already been previously configured. I'm going to go into the Console app and I'm going to log in as my administrative user. I want to show you what users have been created and what their permissions are going into our demo. If I log into the Console app, I can see under the Manage User menu item that we have 4 users out there. We have an admin user, we have a deploy user, and then we have my 2 end users, user A and user B. Now, user A has been set up to be a simple user. If I select the user A and I look at their permissions, I can see they have grayed out permissions, meaning that their permissions are inherited by membership to their group. And if I look at group, they've been assigned to the group of user. If I look at my deploy user, I can go and look at my permissions. In addition to those inherited, I've given them the register permission and the deployment permission. If I look under groups, I've assigned my deploy user to the supervisor group. So I have my user set up. I have my deploy user, whose purpose is deploy applications, and I have my user A and my user B, who are my end users of some applications. Let's switch over now and look at the deployment portal. I'm going to log in the deployment portal as my deploy user. And the purpose of being here as the deploy user is to deploy an application. We're going to deploy the GGC Quick Start application. The GAR file was provided for us. I click in the deploy, I go and find my GAR file, and I drag and drop my GAR file into the window. The application is deployed, but it's inactive and it needs to be secured. Our first step is to click the secure button. This goes out and secures the app. Our next step is to go and configure the application. I click on the configure button, and now I get to set up the authorization and scopes. I want it to be anybody that has the role of user. I want them to be able to visit this app. And then under the required, we need to have the OpenID scope selected, and it is selected by default. I save my changes, and now I can go and enable my app to allow users to come and access it. At this point, I can go out there and quit the deployment portal. And now I can go and enter in the URL for the application and check and make sure that my permissioning is working. So I enter in the application URL, and it brings up my login screen. I can go in and log in with my user A name. And when I click login, it's going to go. It verifies I have permission to see the price app, and it shows the price app for me. If I go back to that same application and I try to log in as my deploy user, I end up with an error screen. And the error screen is expected because I don't have permission to use that application.